Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about the meanest, rudest, nastiest rejection slash critique that I ever received. Now granted, this person that I received a critique from is not an agent. I want to be very clear about that. I have never had a super nasty interaction or even like a nasty interaction with an agent at all. I have some funny stories about rejections in general. If you guys are like interested in that, I could do like a little story time about some of the funniest or most interesting rejections I've ever gotten, but I've never had a rude rejection from an agent. However, in 2019, I won a free critique off of a Twitter giveaway and I was super excited. This person was a freelance editor who boasted of having, you know, clients that were New York Times bestsellers or like made lists and very fancy authors. And me as a newbie writer who had only been in the writing community about a year, I was super pumped to get a critique from someone in the industry who was a professional. I was a little bit seasoned at this point. I knew that there were people out there that were not as qualified as they said they were, or if they are qualified, like if you're traditionally publishing, like, you don't need to get your book professionally edited before you query. That's just a bit ridiculous. It's a waste of money. And so if you're traditionally publishing, working with an outside editor, for the most part, if you've got a disability, an impairment, or you're just like really bad at grammar or something, I understand maybe there's always caveats, but in general, like, I would never be working with this person on the career traditional path that I wanted to go. However, it was a free critique, so I was down, obviously. This critique was the early version of When the Sea Came for Us. This was a version before I started querying, and that was my YA dark fantasy that I tried querying before I wrote the book that actually got me an agent. The point of this video, I hope, is to give you some laughs. This critique was obviously very rude, and I do want to say, like, I'm not like upset about this. It was a long time ago. It's fine. I'm over it. But I do want to share this experience because I want people to know, number one, there are people out there in the industry that do just want to like tear you down and be mean to you. There are 100% people that are trolls and just want to be mean. And number two, I'm hoping that maybe if you've never critiqued, or if you are about to send your book out to be critiqued by a beta reader or like a critique partner or whatever, you kind of know like how you should be critiquing yourself or should be receiving, like how this should work, what is actually helpful and what is, if not harmful, just like not worth anything. My original idea was to do like a screen overlay so you could see like my book on one side and the track changes of the editor dude bros like comments and whatever. But I realized with iMovie I can't do that without blurring. Like, I can't blur out his name, and I don't want to be that person. So you're just gonna have to like stare at this lovely mug while I read the comments to you. Anyways, I hope you all enjoy, and let's get into the reading. I don't know why I'm nervous, but my heart is like pounding. I have not read this in so long. I'm kind of excited. I remember it being funny. When was the last time I looked at this? May 7th, 2018. So yeah, this is all gonna be like new to me. Oh gosh. Okay, so my first comment is about my opening, which maybe is a valid critique. He says,
"Which of these paragraphs is your opening? They both serve the same purpose."
Fine. Okay. But then he goes on to say,
"Also, this text is incredibly bland," but we'll get there in the next comment.
And I can just imagine me reading this for the first time like,
"This is coming off like you're trying way too hard to be impressive. Also, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel, so this paragraph sits on the page like a blob."
Okay, and then he starts making fun of my main character's name. He does not like this name, which is a real name, by the way. I will put up spelling on the screen so you can see. I wanted all of my names in this book to be spelled exactly how they were said, so Miera. His comment was,
"This name is gonna trip up readers. Is it Mira, Mayra, Mitra? Come on."
Oh, and this is where it gets real good, y'all. He says,
"The unique name is a complete turnoff because it comes across as amateur, like the writer, you, wants to make it sound all cool, but it just doesn't land.
Sorry to everyone in the world actually named Miera. Also, like, it's a Celtic name, so I guess, like, screw all of Ireland. And there's so many comments like that I'm just skipping over because, like, that's just such, like, a nitpicky thing.
This is the point where a reader who has to make a publishing decision would absolutely stop and hard reject this story. What is the point of all of this?
Page 3, here we go. This is my favorite comment. It's a seemingly random line that he highlighted. I feel like at this point he was just like stopping to leave this like really super sweet comment where he says,
any agent with half a mind at this point would throw the book in the garbage at this point. Just saying.
Oh, and I love this random comment. It's not even connected to anything. He just says,
why should I care at all about anything in this story so far? I mean, the sentences on this page are grammatically correct, but it's uninteresting and entirely poorly focused.
So the bad guys see my main character and she needs something to defend herself. And so my line says, with dread, I realized my only weapon, the walking stick, had betrayed me by rolling under a pine completely out of reach. He highlighted that and said,
sticks don't betray anyone's. They're sticks. They're inanimate. They're completely incapable of betraying humans.
Obviously, this guy does not like metaphor. His last comment was one line, and it says,
so what the hell was the point of this entire chapter?
So what have we learned from this? There's a lot to take away from here. Number one, apparently I'm still salty about this. Like, some of his points were valid. Like the whole thing about, you know, I needed to make the reader care more. Like, why did they care about this setting and this character? That was a valid critique. I don't think in this early draft I did a good job of making the reader care quickly. But there's like a way better way of saying that, and there was way better advice that I could have gotten. Like my critique partners and my beta readers who read this version, they totally helped me out. Like they gave me good advice to like make changes and make it better, not just like, oh, this sucks. Also, another good thing to point out is when you're giving critique, don't just point out the negatives, like the things that aren't working. I think a lot of times when you're critiquing someone's work, it's just as helpful to point out the things that are working. Then an author would know like, oh, I did this well, well then I will repeat the same thing and do it again. And that's just, I find that very helpful. And when I give critiques, I usually have my comments like half and half, like half is critique and half is like squealing, like, oh my gosh, this is really good, like I love this, do this more. Because all I have from this critique is him saying what's not working and nothing about what is working. And I know even from this really early draft, some of it did work because I still got 11 full requests. So like something about this was working, but I just like, I wouldn't know what that is if he was the only critique I ever received. And lastly, just like, don't be a butthole. Like, don't tell someone that, what did he say?
What the hell was the point? What the hell was this? An agent would throw this in the trash. Your writing is coming across as amateur and try hard. This is the point where a reader who has to make a publishing decision would absolutely hard reject this story. Your writing is uninteresting and poorly focused. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't care. Why should I care?
That's mean. That is like, there's no other way to say that. That is mean. That is demoralizing. Like, there is nothing helpful in being that mean to someone. And like, to be completely honest, like I probably should have said this at the beginning. This did not hurt my feelings. Like, I am okay. I know that getting into this industry, like there's gonna be like a lot of people that don't like my writing. It's not for them. Or even just people that are just like a-holes. Like, you know, like I find like this really didn't hurt my feelings. I was just kind of like, oh wow, this guy's a jerk. I'm not going to even like interact with this person anymore, and this is just one that I can chalk up to as an experience. I'm okay. I don't want you to feel bad for me that this like actually hurt me. It's just that I know this could hurt someone else. A newbie writer, maybe someone who has never let someone read their work, or they're really nervous about that. Like, if you critique someone's work like this guy, like you could crush someone's soul. Granted, I think if you want to make it in traditional publishing, like you need to harden yourself to rudeness or like heavy critique, whatever. At the same time, like you don't have to accept it. Like if someone gives you a critique like this, you don't have to converse with them anymore. You can just move on. You don't owe someone anything. My favorite thing about all of this though is like this guy was just like, you suck so much, you'll never get an agent. Like any agent with half a mind would throw this in the garbage. Like, and I'm like, Funny you say that. Anyways, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Please go forth being good critique partners and beta readers. Always give helpful feedback that is kind and supportive. And if you are giving constructive criticism, make sure you're actually giving the constructive part, like something someone can take and make their book better with. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!